friends, we will discuss General Studies Paper 3 of the Civil Service Examination Mains. The General Studies Paper 3 also can be divided into subjects like, okay. And the first we'll see economy, okay, economic aspects of it, okay. After that, in the economy, if you want to separate like agriculture as a separate topic also, you can segregate subtopic, but mainly economy. So economic development or economy. So in mainly here agriculture can be seen as a subtopic. And after that, we'll be seeing about science and technology, then disaster management and security. Okay. So here also we can see like 4 subjects, or you can also say, see, science and technology also includes environmental science. Okay. So either you can take it like 5 subjects or mainly 3 subjects, that is economy, science and technology, and security. And disaster management is like overlapping, means we are going to study about disaster management, whatever we have studied in geography, so both will overlap here. Anyway, so General Studies Paper 3 gives like technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. Fine. So what is the syllabus in the Indian economy for the mains examination? Economy, we know that very important subject, because each administrator need to use the resources conservatively in an optimal way, right? So here Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment. See, the issues definitely arise while we plan, because earlier we have seen that the planning commission was there and now it is replaced by Niti Aayog. Fine. So planning is very crucial for the nation. So what is the long-term plan and what is the short-term plan? What basically we are going to achieve? So what resources are needed to achieve that? So we need to plan in advance. Resources is not about just physical resources like iron, gold or coal. It's also about human resources. Okay, the physical resources on one side and human resources on other side. So how we are actually planning and mobilizing the resources, correct? So through education or through skill development, we can talk about mobilization of the human resources, and the physical resources actually based upon the availability without compromising the future generations ability to use that. We need to plan, that is a mobilization of resources. We need to understand growth and development. So growth is basically a physical term, that is it can be measured easily, but development, it's not that easy to measure, correct? So the production has increased 50%, yes, growth, but whether growth is converting as a development, so we need to check it, the quality parameters, like how the education level has increased, health increased, correct? So growth and development, obviously the growth without employment is of no use. Okay, the growth accompanied by employment is a crucial factor for any country. Where the unemployment rate is very low or the employment rate is very high, so that country can prosper very well. That is very essential. Employment is one such thing which can solve many problems in the family, because of our employment, at least one person is employed in a family, he can take care of his family's health, education and other needs of the family, correct? So next is in the economic part, inclusive growth and issues arising from it. We discussed, sir, that is growth with employment generation is very essential, and along with that inclusion is also very important. Okay, see, they are all linked topics. If for example, in a country, only if top 5% are earning, so they are getting lot of income. Okay, that doesn't translate into all the sections. Fine, growth should be there. Yes, those 10 people are contributing to the growth of the nation. But how about the person who is sitting in the remote corner of the country, on the new corner of the country, that is in the villages? So everyone should be part of that growth story. Everyone means everyone. It may be woman, it may be transgender, it may be rich, or it may be poor. Everyone should be part of the growth story. Okay, so that is called as inclusive growth. Inclusion of everyone. Fine, very important. And issues arising from it. Yes, definitely challenges are there, because to include everyone, lot of facilities need to be done. How to include everyone? How to bring everyone into the net? We are not just talking about employment, financial net basically, correct? So if everyone is having a bank account, then it becomes very easy to include everyone. So not only to take the benefit out of the citizens, it is also to provide benefits to them, to provide scholarships to students, provides subsidy to the farmers, correct? To provide subsidy to the small business people. So the inclusion is a broader in the sense, inclusive growth and issues arising from it. Okay, and government budgeting is always a hot topic and important topic, because the budgeting is one such thing where the planning for whole year is done. The resources are allocated to the different sectors, and like rational thinking will be done for that. Not only in the budget, post budget also the planning will continue, the allocation of money will happen. Always there are hues and cries like so for education the lot of money means the required amount of money is not allocated, or the health is not taking attention. So anyway, that issues we need to understand. What basically budget is? It's basically planning for the expenditure and the receipts of a financial year. How to increase the income side? Whether to raise the taxes, is it a wise way, or reduce the subsidies? So we need to understand the budget and the issues associated with it. In the economy, we know that the primary sector, secondary and tertiary sector, fine, they play a dominant role. In that primary sector, we know that since from the ancient times, okay, so India is basically a agrarian country, especially after independence also, means only after 1991 we can see that shift. But presently also, if you see the employment base, okay, around 50% of the population is still depending upon the agriculture. Okay, so that is very important, which is the source of livelihood for many people. India may be earning money through service sector, but it is not able to provide employment opportunities, right? So we are focusing more on developing the secondary sector. Okay, secondary sector. So we know the importance of agriculture, so obviously they have kept it as a part of syllabus. We need to understand how to maximize the productivity, how to ensure the farmer will get more income so that he can sustain his family on his own. So to stop the suicides of the farmers, right? So we need to understand. So the syllabus consists of like major crops, cropping patterns in various parts of the country. Okay, cropping pattern is not same everywhere, because somewhere we have dry land, somewhere we have heavy rainfall areas, correct? And different soil types are available, government facilities are available in a different fashion. So the cropping patterns we need to understand, in which part of the country what type of cropping is done. Okay, so whether it is creating any problem or any technological advancements or the research are going to help it better. Okay, the different types of irrigation and irrigation system. Yes, it is the cropping pattern. Once we know the different types of cropping pattern across the country, and also the water availability plays a major role in the agriculture. So we need to understand what types of irrigation, whether it's a sprinkler irrigation or a drip irrigation, right? So, or it's a flooded irrigation. So, which one is better? In the water scarce areas, we need to conserve water, correct? And what is the type of irrigation system, whether it is a canal type or it's a borewell type? So, what are the issues? Whether the groundwater is depleting because of that, how to recharge that? So, we need to understand those things. Storage is important in agriculture. If you like from starting point to end point, if you see from input side, like what is required basically for the crops: seeds, water, correct? Seeds, water, and fertilizers, pesticides, right? After all these things, once the crops grow, then we need to harvest it. After that, obviously we cannot sell directly because the price may not be available at that time. Means the farmer wants to store it for some time so that he'll get the better price. So you need to have storage facility, correct? Very, very important, storage facility. Okay. After that, transportation facility, that is crucial. If the good transportation facility is there, he can reach wherever, like market, the market he wants to sell, where the better price is available for him, correct? So market, from end to end, agriculture we need to understand. Fine. So here talking about like different cropping patterns, water availability. Then comes the storage. Some crops are having a longer shelf life. They can be stored for longer period, no problem with that. Like rice, but still preservation methods to be adopted. But there are some crops like vegetables, right? We cannot store for longer time. For that, cold storage is required. We know that how the farmer sometimes without selling, they will throw the vegetables, especially tomatoes and everything on the roadside, and they will move. So if the storage facility is available, so what kind of storage facilities our government is providing? What is the warehousing concept? Correct? So we need to understand those things. And transport and marketing of agricultural produce. As I said, definitely the farmer need to be empowered. He need to be given with the options to sell anywhere in India where he gets a better price. Correct? Marketing of agricultural produce and transport. Yes, the farmer is able to get a better price in Madhya Pradesh. How to send to Madhya Pradesh? So better transportation facility should be there, right? So, and issues related to constraints, whether to sell in a APMC market only or anyone outside the market, that is IPMC market, correct? The farmer bills are in place, and they are talking about not only sell the goods and means the produce in the APMC markets, you can sell anywhere in India, right? Anyway, those constraints, what is the problem associated with it? Like we need to understand that. Whether it's good, bad, yes, we need to understand. It will be always in news in one form or other form. Yes, we have to understand that. And how e-technology is helping the farmers? Definitely yes. When the means rainfall is coming, so it will provide the information. What price is available and where it is available. So information is available. When the pesticides are available, when the quality seeds are coming, means seeds are available for sowing. So all those information and news about means the new types of crops growing or information related to mixed farming, how he can improve his income. So many things are provided through e-technology, and it still need to be improved. Much more benefits can be given through that. So we need to understand all these things. Okay, and see, for all these things, what is involved is money. Without money, you cannot do anything. We know that in India, most of the people are marginal farmers. Okay, they're having small area, and they cannot afford to purchase tractors and all. Okay, so believe in the traditional farming methods, and they lack money to purchase quality seeds. So they will sow the traditional seeds. So to avoid all these things, government is coming up with the support systems, right? Correct. So that is direct and indirect farm subsidies are given. Direct and indirect farm subsidies. For example, like some things, water or with respect to seeds, correct? So some things are like on fertilizer, direct subsidy is given, correct? Direct subsidy is given. And for some things like indirectly means government is spending in a bigger manner on the agriculture, right? So that is an indirect form of subsidy. So both issues we can see how it is helping, how it is creating problem. Both sides it is there. For example, by providing the free water, he will never understand. The free water means the electricity. So he will extract the groundwater unlimited. He will not worry about it. But if it is accountable, so he may worry about electricity bill. I'm not suggesting that they should be put electricity bill, but at least it should be measured so that they can understand what is going wrong. Correct. Anyway, so direct or indirect farm subsidies, whether it is to purchase a tractor, okay, or to purchase the modern equipments, the subsidies are given to even to install the drip irrigation. The subsidies are given. Subsidy is basically the part of the payment is done by the government, correct? That is subsidy. Part of the payment of the market price is given by the government. Fine. And okay, they have done everything and finally they have produce in their hand. They want to sell and they are not getting the required price in the market. What to do? It is discouraging the farmers, right? It is discouraging the farmers. So government will ensure by providing the minimum support prices, correct? Like beforehand itself it will announce, so I will purchase, okay, rice at 2000 per quintal. So farmer is having a guarantee, if nobody is purchasing in the market, at least government will purchase for 2000 rupees. So that is the guarantee, so that he can grow the crops confidently. So anyway, what is the issue with that minimum support price? Whether because of this diversification of the crops is not happening, or it is really supporting the family of the farmers. So all those things we need to discuss, correct? And right now I said, like, so government is assuring that I will purchase from you. So as a government, what I have to do with that purchase? After procuring so much thing from the farmers, what I have to do with rice, wheat? Okay, yes, it is a socialist country and government is having the responsibility to distribute food to the people, correct? So that is through public distribution system. Okay, so what are its objectives, functioning, limitations, and how it need to be revamping? Yes, government is providing, correct? The objective is to feed everyone, that is no one should be hungry, correct? And limitations, yes, how the leakages happens and whether the quality food is supplied and how it can be revamped. Look, can we directly send money to the families of the PDS beneficiaries, or is it going to be a problem for the family if means the money can be diverted for other purposes? They may not get the food even though it is given for that purpose. So how it can be revamped? What is the better way? Because it is providing lot of employment opportunities. We need to understand that. Issues of buffer stocks and food security. Again the same thing. See, the government is procuring the food produced from the farmers. So it is keep on piling because in market demand is not there. Farmers are selling to the government. Sometimes it happened around 2013. Supreme Court scolded government. Why the food is rotten in the godowns? Please at least distribute freely to the people of India. At least they will eat. Correct. So anyway, but the buffer stock concept, that for emergency purpose. So for example, during COVID, these buffer stocks are definitely useful because they can be distributed to the people very easily. So anyway, what is the issue with that thing and how the food security can be ensured in India? How to ensure the farmers to grow the food and how to ensure that the people will get the food? Yes, everything is part of this. Food Security Act is in place. How it is promoting the farmers to grow the crops, we'll see that. And more than 75 almost in India 66% is under the this PDS system. Okay, and the technology missions, economies of animal rearing. Technology missions, definitely with respect to farming, like for example, green revolution. So it is a technology oriented mission using the quality seeds, using the irrigation, right? Advanced mechanization is used. So technological missions with respect to development of the agriculture. So it may be development of the quality seeds, it may be development of the machines, right? All those things. And animal rearing is very very important because it provides alternate source of income for the people. Okay, so we know that Indian monsoon is a like Indian agriculture is a gambling with the monsoon. Sometimes it may fail. Okay, so in that scenario the alternate income mechanism, that is animal rearing, so traditional animal rearing and new types of animal rearing like emu farming is also encouraged, correct? So how it is going to help the farmers, we need to understand that. Fine, now the food is produced and it is sent to market. As we discussed, some products, some produce is having a shorter shelf life, like tomato. So instead of selling tomato, why can't we make ketchup, so that with the help of preservatives it can be used for 6 months. Tomato life is few days, correct? But life of the ketchup is 6 months. So that is important aspect, that government is also encouraging the food processing. Food processing and related industries in India. What is the scope? What is there? How important it is? Location, upstream and downstream requirements, supply chain management. Yes. See, I want to sell the milk, but where is the food processing industry nearby? Because chocolate industry need milk, but I should be available to near to them, or at least transportation facility should be there. Cold chain transportation should be there. Correct? That is the issue. Just because I want to do it is not possible. So government has to give some opportunities, and people also need to find some opportunities among themselves. Okay, so what are the related industries? Some are like a chain reaction, so dependency will be there. It is not just we want to sell and somebody will procure, correct? What is the scope, significance? Definitely yes, this is very very important. Milk powder is available means, okay, the milk can be stored for just 24 hours, 48 hours, correct? But what about the milk powder? Yes, life is more, correct? Significance, location matters a lot. So food processing industry, if it is available in some place like Tumkur, the neighboring districts will be beneficial. But how about the far away person can come and sell there? So location matters. Sometimes the type of crop is available more there, but they don't have the opportunity to process it. So no use, right? Like we need to have the food processing set up there itself. So location matters. Upstream and downstream requirement, definitely yes. Upstream and downstream requirements. Say one side, after doing that, somebody should be there to purchase it, market options. And another side, if you are setting up the food processing industry, you need all the type of inputs for that. Okay, so and supply chain management is very very important for the plays a crucial role, very crucial role, because even if one part is cut in the supply chain, so whole chain will be disturbed, correct? For example, if you are assembling a car, so just because the nuts and bolts are not supplied, so if remaining all parts are available, can you assemble the car? No, right? So in the supply chain everything matters. One link is cut, whole process will be disturbed. So we need to focus on that. So this is about food processing. And the land is very important for growing the crops, correct? But we know that in the ancient times, like before during the British time, we have zamindars, correct? Mahalwari areas. So where the land is concentrated in the single hand and people are working on it. If people are having their own land, the possibility of growing more and ensuring the security is also more. So for that purpose, the land availability plays an important role. Correct? The land reforms in India, we need to understand from the beginning to till now. It may be like tiller is the owner of the land, right? Or putting the cap, so one cannot have more than this much land. All these things comes under the land reform. Okay, if the land is ensured to the farmer, okay, so there is a possibility that he can show more interest in that and he can develop more, or he can make the crop more productive because his self interest will be there. Okay, some people may be interested to do the farming but they don't have the land. That should not happen. So concerning, with respect to those concerns, the land reforms have taken place till now. And after 1991, we know that the liberalization has taken place, correct? So what actually it has impacted agriculture? How much it is impacting the industry? How it helped other, at the same time actually how it affected agriculture? That also we need to understand here. See, one side they are promoting more industrial growth and more services. At the same time, for few years, okay, the agriculture was neglected and so the growth was reduced. Anyway, so how actually the liberalization can be used for the benefit of growth of agriculture, and how it actually means affected the industrial growth in the nation. Yes, it has given a positive contribution. We know that the reforms of 1991, liberalization, globalization and privatization. So how it is positive to the nation, and at the same time to some extent how it became negative to agriculture. So we'll see that. If we want to grow, the resources, basically infrastructure, becomes very very important. Without infrastructure, no country can grow. Okay, so infrastructure is basically supporting element for any economy. Okay, it is having wider connotation. Infrastructure is one thing where multiple people will use it and still it helps them to grow and it will not be consumed in the process. Correct? Like, we need to understand the importance of infrastructure. Okay, it is basically set up where everyone can use it and grow. So it is like energy. If the energy sector is developed, so almost all the industries, correct, whether it's a primary or secondary or tertiary, so they need energy. Ports, yes, for the transportation, marketing to the different countries, correct, for export or import, so ports play the very important role. Roads, yes, the last mile connectivity is possible only with the help of roads. Only with the help of roads, because railways may be providing the cheap transportation for long distance, but roads will provide end mile connectivity. Very very important. Okay, and airports, fine, airports, especially tertiary sector, service sector, the business proposal means business growth, and also the tourism, right? So all these structure, especially infrastructure, not only include this, even the health infrastructure, education infrastructure, everything matters and it is important. We need to understand that. And to finance all these things, correct, to finance all these things, to develop the infrastructure, definitely government is not having that much sufficient money. So definitely money need to be pulled in. So investment models, very very important. We might have heard like PPP model, like how the public and private together invest money and reap the benefit, right? But there are problems associated with each investment models, because the private people are worried about that recovery of the money. Sometimes it will not be so lucrative. So there are different models, that is build, operate, transfer, BOOT model, hybrid annuity model. Okay, we'll discuss that in the classrooms. But investment models, that is ultimately both should be benefited. So different type of models are in place. Sometimes the private people will build and hand over it to government. Sometimes together they will work, correct? Sometimes they will just design and give it to government. So different types of investment models are there, where both government and private are going to invest, and ultimately it is going to help the growth of the country. So this is about the economy part in the part that is GS3 paper. This is economy part. Now we'll understand the another subject, that is science and technology. Science and technology. As an administrator, one should give more focus on science and technology after the Indian polity and economy. The reason is, if he is aware of the advancements in the science and technology, okay, because it is proven in the history that the advancement in the science and technology has given multiple benefits to the citizens, right? Because when if you take the example of agriculture, or if you take the example of seeds, how in the same acres of land, how he doubled his production, is it not with the help of the science and technology? Correct? The advancement in the communication and technology, how it is benefiting the people. Now people can work from home with the help of this technology. What is the difference between science and technology? Science always teaches like how it works, what is the principle behind it. Technology always talks about application part of it, how it is applied. Correct? Einstein has given the theory, like theory of relativity, how it can be applied to presently, how we are using that in the GPS system. Application matters a lot. Correct? Somebody is giving the concept how a satellite will rotate, means natural satellite will rotate without falling. So that can be used, and we are launching satellites today and using the same principles. Correct? So that is application of science, that is technology. Very, very important. Today most of the problems are solved with the help of the technology. We know that how earlier disasters created a lot of loss of lives, but how it is helping, how the information is saving lot of lives today, right? So no need to explain that science and technology is important. Yes, it's essential and it is part and parcel of our life. So it is important to understand this subject from that angle. So development and their applications and effects in everyday life. Yes, they're talking about the same thing. Development and their application and effects. Whether it's good effect or bad effect, both are there. Correct. Now the enemy need not come in India and steal something. Sitting somewhere else, he will leak our data. He will take the confidential data. So both are there, positives and negatives. Okay, application and effects in everyday life. How it is helping us, how it is improving the quality of life. Correct? So we need to understand that. Achievements of Indians in the science and technology. Okay, indigenization of technology and developing new technology. 3 parts here. We need to know about Indians who are contributing in the science and technology, present days and also in the olden days. How our people contributed. Correct? Why we need to know about our people? So that is the pride matter for us, one side, and it also highlights to the world that India can achieve anything. Okay, how we are capable in all the fields. It motivates the next generation. Okay, I also want to contribute something to the nation in the science and technology. Correct? Achievements of Indians in science and technology we need to understand. Indigenization of the technology and development of new technology. Indigenization. Definitely, we know that so many times it has happened that we are depending upon the other countries for the technology. Okay, like cryogenic technology for launching the satellites, we lack it. We are developing it. Correct. So if we have our own indigenization of the technology, for example, we know that if we are depending upon GPS during wartime, what problem may happen? Correct? So do you think that during wartime they will give you accurate location? Is it possible? We know that in the Iraq war, how the GPS was not given properly and misleaded. Correct? So definitely we need to have the technology of our own. So presently we are how we have developed Indian GPS system. Okay, right? So we need to understand that indigenization important. Indigenization of technology and developing new technology. Yes, we need to focus more on. For example, when we went to, okay, that is Mangalyaan Mars mission. Okay, NASA also went to Mars and Indian satellite also went to Mars, but the cost is less, 10 times less than the NASA. Okay, so what is the advantage of this? Most of the other countries are coming to India so that they can launch their satellite in a low cost mode. So like that we need to develop the new technology. That is very important. Development of new technology is very important. Self-reliance. See, without having technology, we cannot say that we are self-reliant, self-independent. Fine. So we need to have the advanced technology. We need to work more towards it. So we need to encourage that. So after you become administrator, you please ensure that how the encouragement is given to the students so that they'll emerge as the scientist and contribute in a bigger manner to this field. And awareness in the fields of IT. So here different sectors. Definitely we need to understand in the information and telecommunication what is the things are going on, what is going in the space, whether we are going to Mars or Moon, what type satellites we are launching, what type of vehicles we are having, from where we are getting the technology and advancement in the computers, correct? So what type of supercomputer we are developing, how it is helping the robotics. Yes, we have reached the humanoid robotics level, correct? But in India, to what is the progress of the robotics? Because robotics, we know that it helps in all the fields, whether it is a normal, so from serving in the hotel till in the hazardous fields, correct? And nanotechnology is very important. It is playing a especially bigger role in all the sectors, from building the strong aeroplanes to the medical field. Without doing surgeries, now they are able to cure some diseases. So nanotechnology, we need to understand the importance of those things. Okay, how a smallest particle can build the strongest material, correct? How it can help in all the fields. Biotechnology, definitely need to understand the human body, not only human body, even other organisms, correct? The biotechnology, how the gene editing, how the diseases problems can be solved, correct? Gene editing, we also heard about like in the crops, genetically modified crops, GM crops. So how we can do that, how we can achieve that, how we can increase the productivity, right? So biotechnology and issues related to the intellectual property rights. So there are many issues related to that. How about producing the designer babies? What impact it can have in the future? So if you are finding solution for something, how it will affect for the future generation? We need to understand all those things, correct? So the intellectual property rights. What is happening is, if I am having an idea, so in the present world it is means I am having my own work. It is easy to easily can be stolen by someone, but we need to protect that. That is the intellectual property rights. Okay, so all these things we need to understand. And in the science and technology, again we can add environmental science, or if you want to say, so we have understood economy and science. So environment, third thing is environmental science, or separately we can handle it as an environment subject. We know that in the global warming scenario, how the extreme it is are happening, how the problems are created, how the deforestation is happening. So what is the impact of it? Okay, in all the fields it is creating impact. So on health it is creating problem, correct? And on the future generation resources it is creating problem. So we need to understand the conservation and environmental pollution, how it is creating problem, how to give a solution to it. Correct? What is the new ways of handling this pollution? Correct? So along with the natural ways like afforestation, okay, growing more trees. So how the technologies can give solution for this thing? Degradation of land, when the population is increasing and the pressure on the land is increasing, but the availability of the land is reducing mainly because of degradation. And environmental impact assessment, whenever something need to be, new industry need to be set up, so the impact need to be assessed, how it creates a problem for the environment. Correct? So we need to understand all these things. Fine. And the next subject is, okay, here we are need to understand like biodiversity. What is the importance of biodiversity? What is the hotspot? How it can create problem? Means it is how the quality of the life is decreasing. Everything need to be understood in the environment. Next subject is, okay, that is the fourth subject I can say, that is disaster and disaster management. Okay, you might have seen like how the cyclone is affecting, how the volcano is creating problem, how the earthquake is creating problem. See, disaster, what is disaster? Earthquake itself is not a disaster. Earthquake itself is not a disaster. Okay, see, when vulnerability is there, vulnerability, for example, flood on its own is not a disaster. If you are in the low lying areas in a city, so then you are vulnerable. If the flood happens, it will hit your area only. Correct? So then only, okay, so we can call it as just a hazard. Hazard. So vulnerability plus hazard, together it is called as disaster. Basically in the disaster where we cannot come back to normal situation that easily, then when we call it as a disaster. If we are able to handle it smoothly, then why it will be a disaster? Correct? Earthquake happening in the forest does not creating any problem. It is not a disaster. It is just a hazard. But if we are vulnerable, for example, if it is happening in the heart of the city, earthquake, so then it is disaster. Okay, hazard hits the vulnerability, the building will collapse and disaster will be created. So disaster means we need to understand, if we are not able to come back to normal situation very fast, then only it is considered as a disaster. Yes, we'll understand the cycle and all those things in the disaster. And disaster management. Okay, disaster management is very essential. What is the mechanism? What is the support from the government? What is the awareness, preparedness or awareness? All those things we'll understand in this disaster management. Okay, for this you can understand from one is from geography, another is from like CBSE and book is there, disaster management, that it can be used for study purpose. Next important aspect is subject. The fifth subject in the third paper is security management. Security. See, security, I am not just talking about the physical security. Okay. So it is, even it may be like for the people. Okay. So it's the assurance. Okay, assurance also matters, but that part we are not taking here. We are mainly talking about the physical security. Correct? So we know that the issues of Naxalism, how it's creating problem, how the terrorism problems are happening. Okay, so here we are not talking about the mental security. We are talking about, that is covered in the economy part. Correct? Economy part. But here we are talking about the physical security. Physical security. Okay, so here in this topic, okay, the linkages between development and spread of extremism. Okay, see, Naxalism will not start just because they want to start they want to fight against the government. Basically, when they are deprived of their basic necessities, people will start fighting against the government. Correct? So we need to understand that linkage, how development and extremism, okay, how they are going to the extreme of opposing, how they are protesting against the government to that extent, through violent method, not just peaceful method, because they are not developed. Means no facilities like health, education, roads, correct? So when the development is not happening, when the employment opportunities are not there, then the spread of extremism, example can be like Naxalism in India. Okay, we need to understand how actually they are related, correct? When the people are prosperous, why they will revolt? So we need to understand that. Is it okay? So very important. How it is linked? You need to understand. Majority, the poor people will be part of these movements because they lack the basic facilities. Next is, actually Chanakya says, okay, or Kautilya, you can say, he says in his economy, there are four type of threats. That is internal threat, external threat, and internally aided external threat, externally aided internal threat. Correct? So inside people can create problem like Naxalism. Outside people can attack us like terrorism. But internally aided external threat means external people are taking support of internal people. And other way around. Internally aided external people. So inside people are telling outsiders that please do create problem here. Among this, actually the most dangerous is internally aided external threat. Means Indian people itself is supporting the outside people to attack. The worst of all. Anyway, we need to understand, like four type of threats are there. We need to understand the role of external state and non-state actors in creating challenges to internal security. That is, external state means if Pakistan is creating problem, China is creating state. Non-state actors means they are very dangerous, like terrorists. Non-state, they don't have a particular state. State actors means Pakistan and China, at least it is predictable. So how it is creating problem for the Indian security, we know that. How many bomb blasts happened, the terrorism acts have happened. All these things we know that. Okay. And we need to understand what are the challenges to internal security through communication networks. Challenges, yes. As I said earlier, now the communication networks, through that lot of confidential matters can be leaked, correct, hacked from other countries, very dangerous. So how we are handling that? What is the measure taken by us? Role of media and the social networking sites in internal security challenges. Yes, many times these medias and social medias will give more information to the enemy country rather than those enemies are trying to take the material from us, hack the things from us. Okay, so social networking sites and media actually creating problem, threat. The enemy will know beforehand what is happening here through these sites. For example, when the enemy is attacking in toughest terrain, Siachen, and Indian army person, he makes a video, I'm going for such and so and so terrain, so please bless me, please extend your support to me in the social media. So don't you think that it's a threat to nation security? Correct? Fine. Anyway, so we'll understand that. And cyber security, basics of cyber security is, if the internet or the communication network, okay, is not secure, very dangerous, we have seen in the world how the nuclear sites are hacked, controlled from other countries, right? So how a particular city, complete electricity will be shut down for a day. So how it is possible? The cyber security, we need to understand what is the laws made by the government, what is the safety net we are planning, everything we need to understand. Next is money laundering and its prevention. See, laundering is basically cleaning the dirty cloth, right? Dirt on the cloth is cleaned through laundering. Similarly, the money which is unaccounted or produced illegally is made as a white money. That is how it is made. what are the mechanisms, what laws are there, prevention of money laundering act is there, how it is prevented, what actions are taken against them. Okay, what is the international cooperation with respect to that, we need to understand that. This is bigger problem for us, correct? If money is there, everything can be purchased like that. Next is security challenges and their management in the border areas, linkages of organized crime with the terrorism. Okay, security challenges and management in the border areas, we know that army, navy and air force is there. Along with that, CISF is there to protect the industries, Assam rifles is there, border security force is there, right? So many security forces are there so that our border is protected. Okay, means not only the land border, water border, and also through air border, means air space, we cannot put a border there. Okay, and linkages of organized crime with the terrorism, this is very very important and deadly. Organized crime with terrorism, terrorists want to attack India, for example, correct? They want to destabilize the state. And the organized crime like drug trafficking or weapon racket, correct? So they are organized crime. See the combination, right? See the combination. For example, terrorists need weapons. These organized crimes, if they join hands with them, what will happen? What will happen? They need money and terrorists need weapon, so it can be exchanged. Drug mafia, they need security to send their drugs. So these people, terrorists can give support, means help them to transfer, correct? And what will happen other way around? So it is a deadly combination. When two people are meeting with a bad intention like terrorism and weapon, so they will support each other. If that is happening, that linkage is very worst for a nation, correct? For example, if you take in the northeast, so where the drugs and weapons are carried, like for them, if the terrorists are supporting, what will be the impact on India? Okay, one need money, another need weapon, so how it creates a problem? Organized crime, there is organized crime, weapon and drug mafia is an organized crime. It helps with the terrorism, then gone. Okay, we need to understand that. Various security forces and agencies and their mandate, yes, already I said the different type of security agents like BSF, Assam Rifles, Border Security Force, all these things we need to understand. The intelligence agencies, raw agency, correct? Border road organization, all those agencies, how they are playing a role in the security of the nation, correct? So in the third paper, which is mostly from the current affairs, please understand that. The same books what we prescribe for the preliminary can be used here, but for disaster management you can use the CBSE book. And for security challenges, mostly you can go through the government websites, and you can rely more on current affairs. Okay, because all these things, whether it's maybe security challenge or disaster, okay, most of the topics here are covered from the current affairs along with the basics what you are studying. So you need to understand in detail, okay, the current affairs. So your score will be very high, only with the help of this current affairs. Okay, so take a break and we'll continue with the fourth paper, that is ethics paper. Okay, thank you.